welcome back to my channel. So this video is basically going to be on accessibility again. Last video I did was more on large print reading and large print just in general, and I went into Braille just a little bit, but this one's going to be more accessibility on my TV and my phone and my iPad. So before we start, I'm going to give you guys an example of the audio description and screen reader on Roku. So this has been so helpful, and we just recently found it, and before that I really didn't know what I was missing. So we're gonna go over there real quick to my TV, and I'm gonna show you guys a little clip of a movie with audio description and a little bit about the screen reader. This is my little TV in my bedroom, and on Roku, I'm going to show you guys how the screen reader works. And with the screen reader, I don't really have to even look at the TV screen because it reads a lot of what's on there. So to turn it on, I hit
screen reader enabled.
I hit this button right here 4 times, and that's how you turn it off too. So now I'm going to show you guys an example of the audio description for movies and shows, kind of what it's like when you have it turned on.
In home, but launching Disney Plus.
So I have found that the only thing that's really consistent with having the audio description is movies and TV shows on Disney Plus. Everything that I've watched on here has it, and most things, like I've watched different things on Hulu and Netflix, and they do not have audio description, and that is sometimes really frustrating because I have different shows and movies and that I want to watch that aren't on Disney Plus, and so then it's kind of hard and a little bit weird to go from Disney Plus, where everything has audio description, to something that has no, like, it's not telling me at all what's happening. And it's just, I never realized before how like much I was missing out of movies. So this is a little bit of a movie on Disney Plus with the audio description turned on.
A title appears in yellow letters. West Side Story. An overhead view slowly glides over several metal ladders and fire escapes lying strewn across a large expanse of rubble. The view drifts toward the ground, passing over more broken ladders lying across bricks and rocks.
So that, like, with the audio description, if that wasn't on there, and I just found this recently, to, like, how to turn it on and stuff, but one that was not on there and I didn't have the audio description, it was that whole first part I wouldn't have really known what was going on. And that's still like that with a lot of things on different streaming services that don't have audio description. And with most movies like that we've watched that aren't on Disney Plus, we've looked to see if there's an option for audio description or like an audio track, but most of them there isn't. And so when we're watching something that's not on Disney Plus, it's really frustrating when everyone else can know what's going on, but I can't unless they're talking. And I never realized how much I was missing out on movies and TV shows. There are so many things that I go back and watch now that have the audio description, and I know so much more of what's going on, and I never knew that before, and I'd watched it a couple times before. So that was just an example of the screen reader and audio description on Roku. So I hope you guys found that a little interesting. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was dark mode on my devices. I did go over this just a little bit in my last video, but I want to go into it a little more in depth this time. So I used to have everything on light mode, what they call light mode on an Apple device. I'm not sure about any other devices because my family is mainly Apple product users. So we all have, I think we all pretty much have ours on light mode, and I did for years and years until it was probably close to Christmas this past year. So just a couple months ago, I found out that it was really hard for me to read the black text on a white background, and I had everything like that. I had like my messages, everything was like that, and I was just finding it super difficult, and it was just putting a lot of strain on my eyes. And that's also whenever I switched my background and text color on Bookshare, and I talk a little bit about Bookshare in my last video, so if you want to learn more about that, I encourage you to go check out that video. But I wanted to show you on my iPad. Actually, I'm going to show you this first. So I have everything in large print on my iPad, and so most apps have it, but some apps do not, and that is sometimes really frustrating that they're not accessible, like very accessible. I can still use them, but it's just harder to use the apps that aren't accessible, like they don't have large print. It's just harder to use those rather than the apps that have super big print. And so I'm going to show you my lock screen on my iPad. And so this one shows the time and the date. And so on just a regular, like some other iPad, the date is super, super tiny. And it's still like the same, like it's still the white letters and numbers and everything, but it's super tiny. And I used to have it like that on my old iPad, but that iPad did not have very much accessibility. It was one of the older ones, and when I got this one, I was so surprised by all of the accessibility stuff in the settings. So on texting, like my messaging app, I took a picture earlier, and I'm going to show you guys how big the text is on there. So it's that big, and so and I think the blue might be a little bit darker than normal. I'm not sure though, I can't remember. But that's about how big it is, and that's also about how big it is up here where it shows the date and the time and everything. That's how big it is on the actual messaging app. So that was something that I think I had it on my other iPad, but I don't think I could change the color of blue to make it a little bit darker. So that was also dark mode. So dark mode is on most apps except a couple. So it's on like FaceTime and messaging and calendar and all of those. I think it's even on photos. But that was something that when I found it, I was so happy because I could actually read it, and I wasn't like hurting my eyes squinting at it. And I think I knew that it had that setting that I could change, but I just forgotten about it or something. But I'm also going to show you when there's like a little like a notification that pops up, like low battery or anything that comes up on your screen. I'm going to show you a picture of that. This one actually is low battery. So that's how big it makes them. And like with that, I don't even have to zoom in or anything. And that was super, super helpful. Those, along with like the banners, whenever I get a notification, like a text or anything, the banners are also super big. So if it's a super long text, then sometimes the banners go all the way down to the bottom of the screen. But if I glance up in time, then I can see I can see who like the text is from or what the notification was sent from. But there are some apps, like I said, that have no accessibility. Like they are super tiny print, and they are like black text on a white background, so I'm like squinting to read them. But most apps, unless they're like a game that I installed or like a game of any sort, most of the apps that I have do have dark mode with them, and they have bigger print. But with the little print, I also use this thing called 3-finger tap zoom. I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but that's what I call it. And you just use your 3 fingers. So I use these 3 fingers and I just tap the screen, and I'll actually show you. So we're gonna go back into notification center. So there's that, and then if I tap twice, then it zooms in and I can pan around. So like up here I can see my battery, and I can see, what is this? Is this the time? No, it's not the time up there. That would be the time somewhere else. But I use the 3-finger tap zoom for everything. Sometimes if I get bored, I just like zoom it around. But yeah, that was something that was super helpful, and I've been using that for a while, and you can adjust the size of the zoom, and it's actually really fun. I can just like, if I'm on a Zoom call or something, I just sometimes zoom in and just zoom around and read different things, and it's always so like, it just makes me so happy when I can read things and I can zoom in. It just made me feel like I could be a little bit more like normal people, but not really at the same time, because they could just, glance at the screen. And but whenever I could read tiny print and there's a way for me to do that without having someone read it to me, it was just so great, and it was so awesome to have that. I think we found it a long time ago, but I didn't use it very much, and then now even on like my mom's phone we have it installed. Like, I was gonna read her a recipe or something, and so we installed it so I could read that. So with the backgrounds, I've had a lot of backgrounds over the years, and I didn't realize it until a couple years ago that it made it way easier for me to just look at the different apps if I had like a darker background. And but you've seen the one on the lock screen, but on my home screen, this is the one I have, and it's super cool because I have like moving bubbles, and I think they're blue. They're either blue or purple, maybe green, I don't know, but they're moving bubbles. And so it's kind of dark, and I can see the different apps. And wait, are they moving? They are moving. Okay. The backgrounds that I use are, like I said, a lot of them are dark, but some of them aren't. It just kind of depends on where they're at. Like, I sometimes pull them into an app and put like a black or like a dark blue background behind them and make them kind of small so they're still on there. But for instance, if I was looking at the time or the date or the percent or anything, then I would be able to see that better rather than seeing it like up against the background of a picture. And so that was always really helpful with the darker backgrounds. And I have learned how to, if I want a background really bad, then I can, like I said, pull it into an app, put a different background behind it, kind of make it smaller, pinch it to make it smaller, and that was always really helpful. So I hope this video was informative, and I was really excited to do this one because I have so many things on my iPad and my phone and my TV and everything. I have so many things that I use all the time that people really don't think about when they don't need them. They kind of just, they just go with the settings that their phone already has on there when they get it, or their iPad or anything. But I hope if you were looking for any accessibility, whether it be on my iPad or my TV or anything that I showed you, I hope that you guys try it out. And the audio description I will highly recommend. I'm not sure if it's on anything like a Fire Stick or anything, but I do know that it's on Roku, and I think it's just in the settings that you turn it on. I'm not sure what my mom did, but she did something and I've been using it ever since. So I hope you liked this video, and if you know anyone who is looking for any sort of accessibility that I mentioned, then please tell them about this video and some of the things I talked about. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!